Welcome back for the last video of the supply and demand course. In this video, we'll be going over when to invalidate a supply or demand zone and remove it from your chart. This is important to do because if you have a bunch of invalidated supply and demand zones left on your chart, it is going to create a lot of noise and will only make it more difficult for you to trade. So pretty much there are only two important rules for invalidating a supply or demand zone, and the first rule applies to supply zones. And a supply zone is invalidated and can be removed from your chart if and only if price breaks entirely above the zone. Once price breaks entirely above the level, the supply zone can be invalidated and removed from your chart. The second rule applies to demand zones, and a demand zone is invalidated and can be removed from your chart if and only if price breaks entirely below the zone. Once price breaks entirely below the level, the demand zone can be invalidated and removed from your chart. So here we are on TradingView, and I'm looking at a chart right now where no supply or demand zone has ever been removed. Now, notice this is only the 1, 2, and 4-hour demand zones and supply zones, as well as the daily supply and demand zones. And also, you'll probably notice this is not going to be, of course, all of them. I'm just showing you what some of them on your screen will look like if you do not invalidate and remove them. So let's go all the way to the left over here and take a look at this. It's very simple to invalidate and remove a supply or demand zone, as a supply zone can be invalidated if price just moves above it, because what is happening there? Well, if price moves above the zone, then there is no more limit orders that are left to be filled, and that supply zone is pretty much no longer valid and useful as a level to look for a bounce at. Also, if you notice, when a lot of these supply and demand zones, before I even invalidate them, a lot of them price just moves directly through them. They don't really act as true zones anymore, and it will only make your trading harder. So it's very simple to remove them, very easy rules. Like this one right here, supply zone was broken above here. Go ahead and remove it off the screen. Same with this 4-hour supply zone right here. Price broke above, remove it off the screen. These demand zones, price has not broken through to the downside yet, so we wouldn't remove them. Same for these ones. But this one right here, we'll see that price broke through it on this candlestick wick right there, enough to remove it. This demand zone as well, and then this 4-hour demand zone actually held up right here, so we would keep it. Same with this daily demand zone. We don't see any price action beneath it on the right side of the screen. However, this supply zone right here, easy to invalidate and remove. Same with this one and this one, as price broke above over here. Now, if we keep moving over here, we'll see this 4-hour demand zone broken through and crushed, so we'd go ahead and remove that from the screen. This 1-hour supply zone was broken through and defeated, so we would go ahead and validate it and remove it. Same thing goes for this 4-hour chart. You see, the rules are very simple for invalidating and removing a zone. If price breaks above, you remove the zone. If price is still not broken through it, then you would keep the zone. Same thing goes for used up zones. If a zone is used up but price has not broken through it, then it is still technically valid until price breaks through it. But notice all these demand zones, if price breaks through them at all, we would go ahead and remove them. Notice this 4-hour demand zone is actually still holding up over here, so we'd go ahead and keep that there. This 4-hour demand zone was broken through here, same with this 2-hour demand zone. These 4-hour supply zones were, of course, broken through with these moves up here, so we'd go ahead and invalidate them. Same with this 2-hour supply, we'd go ahead and invalidate that there. And this 2-hour demand over here, we'll see that price broke through it, go ahead and invalidate it. Same with this one over here where price actually did break through it. This daily supply, nothing has broken through it yet, so we will not invalidate it just yet. However, now with this wick of this one candle that broke through both this 4-hour demand and this other 4-hour demand would invalidate both of them, just like that, remove them from your chart. And notice here, look, that when a demand zone is broken through, it does not turn into a supply zone, but rather is just an invalidated level and better off to ignore. This 4-hour demand zone right here was broken through with this single wick right there. That is enough to invalidate it there. Same with this daily demand, where this red candlestick broke through the level, enough to invalidate it. Same with this 4-hour demand here. And actually all of these demand zones, price did break through it. So we know the rules. If price breaks through it, get rid of the demand. Now, these demand zones over here, this daily chart, this daily demand zone here, 4-hour demand zone, and 1-hour demand zone would all continue to hold since no price has actually broken through it just yet. This 2-hour supply zone, price just ended up breaking through it, so we would go ahead and remove it from our screen. Now it is a lot more clear where the supply and demand zones are. And in general, when you are identifying and charting supply and demand zones, it's best to work right to left. So I'll be looking on this right side here first for demand zones. And then as I'm scrolling up through here, I'll be looking for supply zones. Notice here, we actually do get a supply zone. We could use this basing reversal candle, change that to red, and then go ahead and just write, this would be a daily supply. But like I said, these are not, of course, going to be all the supply and demand zones. I just wanted to show you guys how to invalidate them, what are the rules for it, and why you need to invalidate and remove zones from your chart, or it will get messy and very hard to trade with all the noise. But anyway, guys, that will do it for this series of videos. Thank you guys so much for watching through it, and I'll see you guys in the next series that we make. Thank you, and goodbye.